The Army Equal Opportunity Program can be a little bit confusing to some, but today I'll be briefly discussing the purpose, the protected categories, and the reporting procedures. So stay tuned.
rogersarnt!
So welcome back to rogersarnt, where we discuss all things Army. So today we're going to be discussing the Army Equal Opportunity Program, and that can be found at AR 600-20 Chapter 6. So I don't want to waste any more of you guys' time, so let's get started. All right, guys, so let's talk about what the purpose of the Army EO program is. And in order to do so effectively, I'm going to go into AR 600-20 Chapter 6, and I'll start reading here. One of the purposes is to build and maintain a cohesive combat-ready army which is focused and determined to accomplish the mission. To break this one bullet down, we're just going to say that in order for me to feel comfortable at work and just focus on the mission, I have to know that if my rights are violated, then I'm taken care of. Another point is to provide support to soldiers both on and off post. Despite popular belief, it doesn't matter if you're in or out of uniform. Army regulations, policies, and rules apply to you. So I see that happen a lot. Soldiers go off post, and then sometimes they just wild out. Not all soldiers, but some of them. And this is how they get caught up. Another one is to ensure all troops are treated with dignity and respect. And that goes back to just having the peace of mind of knowing that if your rights are violated, that someone's going to take care of you. Also, the fact that if I read up on it and I know if I violate one of these categories, that I can get in trouble. Plus, you just got to be a decent human being. Next thing we're going to talk about is, when does discrimination occur? And let's go back into 600-20, Chapter 6. Discrimination occurs when someone or a group of people is harassed, intimidated, insulted, humiliated, or is treated less favorably than another person or group. With this, the Army, a lot of times what they say is perception is reality, and realistically, reality is reality. If you see that you have a soldier, or if me as a soldier, I see that I am trying to go to a promotion board, and there are 3 other soldiers that are going to promotion boards, and none of them look like me, I can perceive that that's the reason why I'm not going to a promotion board. On the flip side of that coin, could it be that I'm just not out performing the way they are? So these are things to think about when it comes to perception is reality. And then we're going to talk about what are the protected categories of EO. So when it comes to protected categories, we're going to talk about within the military, and we're also going to extend that to the DA civilians, because we do work with DA civilians. Me as a medic, I can be at a hospital and there are plenty of civilians there. So let's talk about the military protected categories: race, color, religion, sex, to include gender identity, national origin, and sexual orientation. And when it comes for the civilians, they have those same protected categories, plus their age, disability, genetic information, or reprisal. And don't get me wrong, I have had to have conversations with individuals about the EO program, meaning that they may have said something that could be misconstrued, or they did say something and then you just have to check them. So that brings me to my next point. How do you make a complaint? So the first thing you need to understand is, within the Army, we like to handle things at the lowest level. That's not to say that you're not going to get your complaint addressed, but what we will do is try not to escalate it if it doesn't need to be escalated. Now, for instance, if I have 2 soldiers and one says that the other is being racial towards them or something, or called them out their name, they bring it to me and I try and diffuse the situation. If said soldier that's making the accusation or wants to escalate it and make a formal complaint, I will assist them with that. My purpose is to try and diffuse the situation, and I make some correction and have some corrective training or action, and then we'll move forward. So for instance, if you want to make a complaint, there are 3 avenues of approach. There's the anonymous, there's the formal, and then there's the informal. So anonymous means that I just want to tell someone and give them the information just so they can be aware that this is what's happening amongst the ranks. if I do that and that I've divulged enough information that the commander can launch an investigation, they have the right to do so. Now, when they choose not to launch the investigation, then they still have to document it on a memorandum format. And the one who needs to document it are called equal opportunity advisor leaders. And every unit has an equal opportunity representative. Every brigade has an equal opportunity advisor. So that's where all the complaints go to. That's the equal opportunity advisor is the individual that does all the command climate surveys, addresses all the troops when there's an issue, and the commander says that, hey, we need to get the troops addressed, see what the complaint is, what the overall climate is. So that's what the EOA does. The EOLs, they take complaints at the lowest level. The second complaint is called the informal complaint. So the informal complaint is when the individual does not want to have a formal investigation or not file a formal report, and that can be handled by the NCO, a peer, or an EO representative, and that can be diffused there and find out what the root of the issue is. That's not to say that it does not have to be fully addressed, meaning they have 60 days to come up with a resolution. Now, it's not mandatory because it's not a formal complaint. However, practice is that they should come up with something within 60 days. Lastly, we have the formal complaint. The formal complaint is documented formally on a 7279. It has strict timelines to adhere, meaning it has to be completed within 60 days. Within the first 3 days, they have to address the command teams in order to let them know that there's an EO complaint going on within their command. An EOA gathers all the information as possible. So that means that they're going to be doing investigations, gathering witnesses, taking statements. Now, with both informal and formal, both of them will get guidance or advice on how to get some proper treatment. Maybe the situation was so dire that that individual needs some type of mental health or something, so they'll be addressed there. They can go to the MFLAC, they can go see the chaplain. So there are multiple avenues of approach in which this individual can get help. So as I said earlier, this is a brief shotgun blast on the Army EO program. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned a thing or two. And if you would like to see more videos, just go ahead and click somewhere here on the screen. And I'd like to thank you guys for joining rogersarnt. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram. You can find me on TikTok. Like, comment, subscribe. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or suggestions, you can also email me at rogersarnt@gmail.com. And last thing I would like to say, as always, you don't have to embrace the suck if you got the right tools in your ruck.
Rogersarnt!